All right, let's do it live on a Football Friday edition of the program. Welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z, who has had a very leisurely morning. Probably got in 18 holes of golf already this morning, maybe a nice massage, a light lunch downtown at some five-star establishment. It's a very relaxed morning for the great Z, which means we should have his full attention and energy here for the next 2 hours on the program.
You're going to get it regardless of what my morning was like, what I've done so far this morning. You're getting my full attention, baby. It's Football Friday. The scores are coming. We've got the Browns and the Colts 3-1. Chance to win 4 in a row. First Energy Stadium is going to be looking spectacular. Trust me, I know.
I know. I saw you there. Fantastic. It looks great. What a weekend. I hope the rain isn't a problem Sunday.
Same.
Because I was looking ahead. And I did see that in there, and that field looks so pristine in the image that you sent me, and I just would love to play a game on that thing, but I do see out there on Sunday a little bit of rain in the forecast, so hopefully it's not a deluge.
No, I would not be a fan of that. I would like it to just be just nice and sunny, maybe a little cloud cover. That's just fine. That's just fine with me, but It's going to be – this is a game, though, that you could envision played in a sloppy conditions. A lot of running, a lot of physicality, offense and defense going back and forth, and really a game where, a couple of key third down conversions, a couple of turning a red zone trip into a touchdown versus a field goal, a turnover here or there are likely to be the difference in what I think is going to be a very tight, very physical game with two teams that, are both run-first teams, and that's going to be, that's the expectation going in. Two teams that are very good at stopping the run, and I think it's going to be fun. And what I like about it, it's just what a contrast from a week ago. I mean, it's going to be a completely different,
couldn't be more different
stylistic game than what we saw a week ago, and I'm excited to see it because. If you beat teams that you were supposed to beat, right, in Washington and Cincinnati. Now you beat an offensive-focused team, and now you have an opportunity to beat, the number one defense in the National Football League.
Yeah, no, it's as big of a flip as you're going to find from week to week, and the biggest challenge I think both of these teams have faced is the one that they're facing, certainly in terms of offense and defensive challenge. You're not many teams in the league that are as good as the Cowboys offensively, but the Cowboys defense had plenty of holes that you could take advantage of, and we did. This Colts team, they're just one of those teams that's good at everything. When you play Madden, it's like A+ defense, A+, C- offense, B special teams. They're just B all the way down. They're just solid all the way down, and that's the type of team that you're going to play on Sunday. As we get into the Ohio Business Machines, preferred copier provider of the Cleveland Browns. All the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachine.com. Your OBM Hot Topics start with the injury front, and it's not good. The scores probably would have led you to believe, if you pay attention to it, that Greedy Williams was going to be out. He has been ruled out, but also Larry Ogunjobi out as well. So we were hopeful that Big Larry could get back. He will not be available for Sunday, however.
Yeah, and that was one of the ones we talked about yesterday. Greedy, if you paid attention, you're right. We kind of told you that. As for Larry, we needed to see it trend positively. We saw a different trend as it related to Sheldon Richardson as he returned to limited practice yesterday. So you're not going to have him. And this is a game where you've got to be good up front. Jordan Elliott, third-round pick. This is going to be a big one. Vincent Taylor brought in. Big game for him as well. Those guys in the middle. And, as I mentioned, Elianku, he's on the opposite sideline now with the Colts. But this defensive tackle room, they're going to have to play very, very well. The good news is that you're going to see, I think Elliott, and we like what we've seen from him so far. You're going to see, as I mentioned, I think a lot of Sheldon Richardson, which is important that he looks good to go. That's going to be very, very important. And one other injury note is Carl Joseph missing practice again on Friday. Ronnie Harrison. Now, Ronnie Harrison would slide in and be your starting strong safety, but Beau, one of the things we talked about and one of the things we, paying attention to would tell you that we were looking to do more of, that big dime, three corners, three safety look. I don't think that happens now. I think you're going to be in two safeties if you do not have Carl Joseph on Sunday. So that's a That's not a small deal there. That's an important one. You hope that you've got Claiborne. He's questionable. But Carl Joseph, that changes some of the thinking and some of the flexibility again on the back end for what Joe Woods can do if Joseph is unable to play on Sunday.
And true game time for him and Claiborne is the way that I understand it, in terms of we'll find out Sunday where those guys are at, and if they are going to be good to go. You won't know until Sunday on that front. It's a great point out of you, because it's what we kind of thought we'd see, and now it might be very, very different. I would assume it would be much more just straight base defense is what my assumption would be on that, but who knows? Maybe Sheldrick Redwine gets called in. That gets pretty thin back there in a hurry at safety. So obviously we'll be keeping an eye on that as the weekend, as we near kickoff at that 4:25 kick coming up on Sunday. Gibby wants to know, is this a bigger game for the Browns than last Sunday? It's a 2-game swing potentially here. This is a playoff contender you're playing. You are a playoff contender. A win for you and a loss for them gives you a 2-game advantage over them in any sort of tiebreaker. Yeah, it is. It's an enormous game for the Browns on Sunday at 4:25 to get this thing and start this second quarter in style, and do so against one of the teams you're going to be competing with for the playoffs.
Yeah, this is in some ways akin to, as you pointed out, a division game. So it's significantly bigger than a game against an NFC opponent, because in the factor, when they factor in similar records, et cetera, division, conference, all of those things matter. And this is a team that, you're potentially competing. Now, look, you win your division. We don't have to talk about competing with anybody, but this is a team that if the Browns do not win their division, that the Browns would be competing with for one of those wild card spots. So, yeah, this is a real opportunity to have a positive play if you're the Browns, and a positive win in a game that could have December implications.
Yeah, it has that type of feel to it. And we will continue to get you set here over the next couple of hours to get you set for this game between the Browns and the Colts, a monster game, 4:25 kick at First Energy. The game last night was between Tampa Bay and Chicago. All I wanted, it's 13-0, and all I want is for the Patriots, the Bucs, to get one more score, and so that I could go to sleep. That's really all I wanted, was this game to be over. I did not have any interest in seeing any more of this game. It was the feel of it, the body language, all of it. Didn't seem like either team wanted to be there, and instead I had to continue to follow it, and in the end, the Bears win. There's controversy in terms of the catch, no catch. There's controversy in terms of Brady, is he aware that it was fourth down or not? And the thing that jumped out to me, though, Z, is, and you heard this in the frustration with Brady afterwards, and it reminds me of, you got a girlfriend, let's say. Let's go back to the college years. You got a girlfriend, and she's a great girl. But you're wondering what else is out there. And maybe you're growing a little tired of the relationship, and you're wondering what else is out there. You say, boy, this looks exciting. How about this? How about this girl I met at the bar the other night? Boy, that's exciting. That seems like that'd be a whole lot of fun. So then you break up with the girlfriend, who maybe there are some negatives, but at the same time, it's known, it's true, you know each other very well. And then you go with the girl you meet at the bar, who's the wild child. Well, the wild child, as a team, committed 11 penalties last night, and that was Tom Brady. You can't change what that team is. And what they are is an undisciplined mess. Yep. And he talked about it after the game last night. They were in third and forever a lot. Can't win that way.
A lot.
I think it manifested in his frustration. You saw him on the sideline screaming at everybody, not pleased. And I think it got in his head, even on the last series, not to say they would have won the game. Who knows if they would have won it or not. But I do think he didn't know what down it was. Now, that could be something as simple of he looked over at the pylon and they hadn't changed it yet from 3 to 4. That happens, where that change doesn't occur. But I think he became so distracted at their ineptitude and lack of discipline that it contributed to the way he played.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think he was quite frustrated with what was going on last night. That's a horrible loss for the Buccaneers, an absolutely
terrible,
dreadful loss. They had that game completely they were in total command of that game, and ended up blowing it and losing. You're up 13-0. You can muster only 6 more points the rest of the way. That truly was a terrible performance by the Buccaneers. And boy, you're right. And I think your analogy was great. I think it's an analogy that a lot of people can probably relate to. And, for Tom Brady, sometimes it falls into that, careful what you wish for category, in the sense that this is not New England. This is not the the absolute pinnacle of professionalism in the National Football League anymore. And he doesn't have to be fair, doesn't have a lot of his weapons that he wanted. Godwin not being able to be on the field for them obviously hurt down the stretch. Mike Evans has been banged up, it seems like, all year and is in some ways a goal line back, even though he's a receiver. It's just a horrible loss. Not really an exciting football game, and a terrible outcome.
Bad.
Terrible outcome for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, it really was. I know at halftime you went to check out the fantastic Netflix show Schitt's Creek. How'd that go? You like that enchilada?
Enchilada. Oh, yeah. They go and they're trying to get in there.
You got to fold it?
It's just.
You got to fold it.
What does that mean? Fold it. Yeah, but what does that mean? You fold it. Do I have to explain everything to you? It's a great show.
That's a fun little program. It's
Moira,
a fun little. It's a nice
tremendous.
NFL halftime, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good quick 20.
Will get you to the third quarter. Yeah.
Right.
So it's very good on that front.
Agreed.
So while that is fun, the NFL will play its second straight weekend with the shadow of COVID above it, and that was added to this just today with a Jets player testing positive this morning.
Yep.
Now, Arizona is supposed to fly to New York today to play in that game. We're going to have to stop that flight, I would assume, because that game could be moved. My guess is the entire Jets team will have been tested today and tomorrow.
Yes.
How are you going to do that?
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks they've just got to go, right? Like they've got to, and hopefully you can figure it out. There have been games that have been played, multiple, where one person tested positive. I remember in Atlanta, wasn't that game in Atlanta when the Falcons had their corner who tested positive and they played the game anyway?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's precedent for it.
That's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to have to play through this. Obviously, Tennessee is a different situation, but one guy here, two guys, I mean, Cam had a positive, he doesn't play. You're going to have to play through these things.
Yes, you are.
It's just the reality.
That's where you're at with this. It is. And in addition to that, which we'll see as long as there are no more positive tests for the Jets, this is where we are for the other games that are affected. Patriots-Broncos is going to happen on Monday night, barring it, no more positive tests. That game will happen on Monday night. Tennessee needs 3 straight days of negative tests. If that happens, then they will play Tuesday night. So the NFL allowing them to play all the way to Tuesday night. We talked about that. So that's where that game will go to. They'll play Tuesday night against the Bills. And as we mentioned yesterday, the Bills-Titans game is played Tuesday. The Bills Thursday night with Kansas City moves to the next weekend. If not, it stays on Thursday. The other wrinkle to this, and this is just something that I'm interested in, but now both Monday night games will be ESPN broadcasts, meaning you've taken a CBS broadcast away from CBS, meaning you got to make that right at some point.
Yep.
So I don't know how they're going to work that out. I was surprised it went with went with ESPN on that. I would have thought, because it's going to be Herbstreit and Fowler on the call again, I would have thought that CBS would have held on to that game. They didn't. So they're going to be owed a game by ESPN somewhere down the road, theoretically. The other thing that I saw, and I heard this from Florio yesterday when he was making some rounds on some local radio stations, Florio said that he had heard from high-ranking NFL officials that the penalty on Tennessee would be year-long suspensions for the general manager Robinson and for Mike Vrabel, your head coach, a $10 million fine.
Wait, what?
And a first-round draft pick.
Hold on. Okay, first-round draft pick.
Florio had heard.
First-round draft pick, not surprised. We talked about that. $10 million fine, not surprised. Did you just say year-long suspensions for the general manager and the head coach?
Yeah. That's what Florio was saying he was hearing yesterday. We
Wow.
still have nothing official from the NFL. Florio's usually pretty well sourced on this stuff, but that was what he was hearing yesterday.
To me, would have to say that there is a paper trail that links them to some organizational approval of those workouts, and or
they were encouraged.
A lack of compliance with the protocols in general that stemmed from the top of the organization, because that seems to be an unbelievable penalty.
It's as severe as we've seen, and most of the people that I'd talked to this week, that we have talked to, has felt that way, that this would be the toughest penalty. And certainly that would do it. A first-round pick, $10 million in year-long suspensions for coach and GM. That's about as stiff as you're going to get on that front.
Yeah.
So we will see. But at this point, there's still nothing on that front from a suspension, nothing official at this point from a penalty the NFL handing down to Tennessee. What we do know is they are acquiescing to them again and allowing them to move the game. But this goes back to you're costing another team money if you don't play the games. So there's a lot of factors here at play, but they still need to do 3 days. They got all clean tests today. They need 2 more days of clean tests before they can play that game. Theoretically, I guess it would be on Monday. Or Tuesday, I guess it'd be Tuesday.
If that really is the penalty, don't you have to announce that like now? Because they need to plan for having a different coach.
Yeah, I would think it would happen very, very. That I would think it would be quickly, but I would also think as strict as those penalties are, you have to have all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed. You got to make sure you have it. So,
Wow.
I'm guessing that's what they're doing is trying to make sure they have it. But that was stunning to me. That's an incredible penalty. But right now, look, you knew a message was going to be sent, and right now Tennessee is the only franchise that's had it like this.
Yes.
There's been individual players here and there, but systemic outbreak we haven't seen. Except in Tennessee,
Right, and prolonged because wow, that really that kind of
it's an attention getter.
Yeah, it's a stunner.
Yeah,
but we
We'll
knew
see.
it was going to be harsh.
We'll
see again. Yeah, but Florio's typically that doesn't seem to me
Pretty
like
on.
something that he's just willy-nilly talking about.
No, I wouldn't think so either. Lots to get to on the program today, including the scores, a fun little game of over-under as well. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You got your keys to victory. Alex Van Pelt will join us at 2 o'clock, our offensive coordinator. So lots to get to, and, of course, the scores coming up at 2:30. We are off and running on a Football Friday. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste and Recycling, family owned and operated since 1932. They've been in business for 87 years, keeping neighborhoods clean and green. Their customers, employees, communities, all part of the family. Visit Rumpke.com to learn more. Yesterday, Jarvis Landry was at the podium. When Jarvis is at the podium, we listen because it's good. Have a listen right now.
Hey Jarvis, first of all, how's the arm?
You guys are down.
Better today. I'm not lying to you guys. I literally had like two of the worst days of my life with my lat. Like, it was sore.
So this is 7.5 minutes, so you got a little time.
Never seen anybody throw a ball before.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he would have been mad at me if I didn't throw that ball. So I had to make sure I get it up and down as quickly as possible.
I was just wondering your thoughts on the clutch play at the end from Odell. What did you see when you went back to look at that 50-yard touchdown run, and how exciting was it?
Oh man, greatness! Like, again, another play that you can't even put into words. You know, at a moment like that, at a time like that, it's always tough when you have a lead like we have, and then a team comes back and you're still trying to protect the lead and call safe plays, and and you find a way to get the ball in Odell's hand, which should have been a 12-yard loss, turns into a 50-yard touchdown the opposite way in a blink of an eye, and that's listen, I haven't seen plays like that in the NFL in a long time, and only special guys make those type of plays, and he's very special, and that's something that we're going to continue to need out of him and for the rest of the season.
Can you kind of talk about how it seems like Kevin Stefanski sort of gets you guys? He gets you and Odell, and he understands the importance of making sure that you guys feel good about your contribution and that you're enjoying the ride. That it can't just be all the time 50 runs a game and you guys kind of just embracing the blocking role and that sort of stuff. It seems like I don't know, have you gotten kind of close to him? Can you talk to him? And does he value your input on this topic?
Yeah, I believe, especially in this game and with the amount of experience Coach Kevin has, from his long history of coaching, and obviously our 7 years apiece, me and Odell, but I think the biggest thing has been the communication, and it always will be communication. I think the more that we can have these open and honest conversations, just about, hey, like, our emotions, our feelings, or whatever it is, or everything that goes into winning the game, because ultimately at the end of the day it's about winning the game, and I think Coach Stefanski knows that about myself and about Odell, and it's never a selfish communicating selfish communication when we're having our talks or whatever it is. It's just understanding each other, understanding the things that what we're trying to do, and how can we do those things, and that's something that Coach Stefanski has been very open about, and that we all have been working on.
Jarvis, I know you don't have Nick for a little bit, but is there still a sense that this is just the tip of the iceberg with this offense? I mean, that you have so many weapons still, just that you're still evolving, and there's more to come?
Yeah, no question. There's definitely more to come. It's always a guy like Nick who doesn't talk much, just shows up, does his job, does it at a high level. One of the best running backs in the NFL right now, and to lose him, it's gonna be tough to replace that. But I think, like you said, we do have a roster that will allow us to do a couple other different things and still be in successful plays. So I'm excited to see, how it's going to work out, and we're praying for Nick to hurry up and get back as fast as he can, safely, and enjoy this ride with us.
On Sunday night though, was there a moment where you thought, this is what I thought this offense was going to look like?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was about maybe the drive right before halftime. I remember, Austin Hooper catching a pass. I caught a pass on third down right before we clocked it, and just the operation of how that whole sequence happened, and then Cody Parkey comes on and makes the field goal. and I'm on the sideline, and I immediately look, to Coach O'Shea and to Baker, and I say, we just took a step in the right direction, because I can remember being here, for the last 2 years, and we'll do all of these things, and then we'll miss the kick, or something to happen right before we get into field goal range, or a penalty to happen, or something to happen that kind of like stops us, and we had that sequence of plays, and then we kicked the field goal, and like I felt the step being taken. As a football team, I'm getting chills right now. As a football team, to be able to be where we want to be, because that's what we have to do. We have to be able to score those points right before half, and then come out at half and then score. That's a 10-point swing right there, and that's a beautiful thing in this game.
Hey, Jarvis, obviously you had to get some games under your belt with Kevin Stefanski to get a feel for him as a play caller. What have you learned about him that way?
He's got some balls, man. He's a guy that, nobody would think that, reverse was coming, at the time that it came. Nobody would think that the first series of the game we were running, a toss reverse pass, you know what I mean? But then, we still had a lot of sequences of football where we just ran great plays, mixing a run in with the pass very well, screen here and there, and that's something that, again, he was in a flow, and you can tell that the rhythm was there, and guys were going out there and executing, playing as hard as they could.
Some head coaches call their plays and are successful, and some just get overwhelmed by it. It's a lot of stuff going on, dealing with the head coach responsibilities, dealing with the play caller responsibilities. What do you think allows him to be effective as both, or has so far?
I would say it's preparation. I talked to him multiple times, either after the game or Monday or Tuesday, on a Tuesday, just, texting, talking, and, he's in the building late night, and then hearing Coach O'Shea, as we're talking through first, second, third down in the meeting rooms, talk about how, all Coach is doing is looking at film and drawing up plays and thinking of guys to put in these positions to go out and make plays. And, so to me, it all comes down to his preparation, and I think he's definitely a confident guy once he gets to calling plays and in the rhythm, and that's what makes us good.
Jarvis, when was the last time you saw Odell this content, healthy, and focused?
Probably college. I think last year, he was dealing with a major injury that obviously he had to have surgery and things like that. Coming into a new system, new team, all of these things, and I think that weighs on you. It weighs on anybody, and he's handled it well. And I think this year, his body, has kind of like calmed his mind down from all of the things that he had going on, that he can go out here and perform at a high level each and every time he takes it.
You know what Jarvis Landry is, Z?
The heart and soul of this team. Your favorite player on the Browns? Mine too.
All of that, and also good human.
It's
a good human.
Fine human. No H there.
Fine human.
No H.
No H. She's a human. What I want for him is I want this run that we're in the middle of now to last the next 4 or 5, 6 years with him in the middle of it. And I want 15 years from now him to come back like Metcalf does, and to be, because this organization deserves to have somebody like him be a legend, and it's just going to be if longevity allows it, and winning. You have to have all those things.
Yeah.
But he, to me, is just, I just love everything that dude's about.
Same. I think he is the perfect guy. As they say in the Big Lebowski, sometimes there's a man for his place and time, and Jarvis Landry is that man for Cleveland, for the city, for this team, for this organization. And you want to see him be a big part of the success, and then join, the pantheon of Browns legends who are beloved. And just from talking to him, I think it would be his absolute plan to finish his career in Cleveland, and then I think to stay here. His family loves it here. They love it in Cleveland. They couldn't be happier here. So I think Jarvis Landry is one of those guys that you could see, being a Cleveland institution. And I think it would be great. It'd be great for him. I hope so too. I love that guy. I love him. is so good on the field. He does every little winning thing you could want. And it's amazing to me, though. Remember when we traded for him? I'm pretty sure we gave a 4th and a 7th, and it was, he's a bad guy. He's not bad guy to the coaches, not good in the locker room, all of this stuff. Total nonsense. Where do they make, like, some of these narratives that
Gase, right?
I know it was Gase that he was with down there, but it just seems so stunning to me that these things could be said about a guy who clearly wants to win. He's caught 17 of his 90 targets, people, for over 190 yards, averaging over 10 yards a target, hasn't scored yet. He's thrown a touchdown, and you haven't heard one peep, and he's out there blocking.
Nothing.
He's probably not 100% coming back from that injury. It doesn't matter. He does whatever he has to do to help us win.
Look how engaged he is during these interviews and stuff. Everything he does at a high level. There's never any part of him that's like, oh gosh, again, really? None of it. Like, just handles his business. Absolutely handles his business.
Thoughtful, introspective, passionate, real. These are the words I would use to describe Jarvis Landry in those settings. And last night on the Kevin Stefanski show, I mean, Gibbe turned in one of the great interviews of our time with Jarvis Landry. And it was hard to say who deserves more of the credit.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. And for Gibbe to slide from his big P right into his big Venus, just right into it yesterday on the coach's show. What a job.
There's so many letters between those two. That's a big leap.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy.
It's a big leap. Not for Gibbe. Right into it. Slid right in.
Right over LMNO. Psh, no big deal. CD,
right
E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Psh, right there.
No problem. Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join the Browns season ticket member wait list today for the best chance of securing tickets for all home games in future seasons. Deposits start at just $100 a seat. Reserve your spot today by visiting clevelandbrowns.com. Gibby, fantastic last night on the coach's show with Jarvis. Less so in the over-unders again last week. We will play a little game coming up next.
Where's the
Cleveland
graph?
Daily, 8:50 ESPN Cleveland. Zenith is as committed to athletes as they are to the game. Zenith helmets designed with an uncompromising attention to fit, feel, style, and safety. You can learn more at zenith.com. That is zenith.com. Time for a little over-under. The great Z versus Gibby. Last week, boys, Z, off your pace for you. Just a mere 4-2. 2 games over, 2 over 500 for Zegura.
That's
but
right.
Yet his record, a sterling 18-4. 18-4. That is quite the performance. Give it.
Greetings.
Yep. So basically, Ezekiel Elliott pushed. He pushed.
Yeah.
Because I went 125 instead of 125.5. So you guys went opposite ways on that. So I just gave it to both of you because he was right at 125. Gibby, that gift represented your lone victory of 1-5 for Gibby, dropping his record on over and under to 6-12 on the
But
season.
he's got. So what did he do in week 1? Can we take that away? And then what is his?
We'll go
overall-
winning percentage. We're just going to go winning percentage.
All right.
Or you could just give.
Yep.
I'm willing right now, as an act of kindness, to give Gibby 6-0 week 1. Just add a perfect one to his
No,
tally.
I don't
to
want
his
your
tally.
charity.
An
I don't want
asterisk?
your charity.
Put that right on his tally.
No charity.
Still feel like I have a very
We're
comfortable
gonna
lead.
trend up. Nothing to see here.
You're not
would.
trending up. You're trending down.
No,
That's how trends work.
no, because you're coming back to me. You went 4-2.
I
Oh
don't,
my God! My worst week,
Yes,
I got
but Gibby,
twice as
this,
many
This
right
is
as
almost
wrong.
a Galan. That was
This
almost
is
a
Galan.
Galan
That-
conversation.
By the way, the
right
Galan's
there.
they're threatening to take it off the exchange right now. There are rumors. There are rumors. They're suspending trading on the Galan and the Gibby as we speak.
You
Reputable
shouldn't
things
go to
happen.
sleep
What's
yet.
happened with the Galan?
Boy, after
Unbelievable.
what they call the RCE, the Galan is it's a penny stock.
It's a penny stock at this point. All right, boys, here are your over-unders for this week against
I think
the
Gibby should get to
Colts.
phone a friend. I've solicited just now on Twitter for somebody to step up to be Gibby's phone a
I
friend.
need help.
Yeah.
I got this.
friend.
It's under control.
All right, here you go. This is our first. We've always start with Hunt Chubb, total combined yardage. We only have Hunt this week, and we're only going rush yards, not total yards.
Okay.
Rush yards for Kareem Hunt, 100.5. Give it.
Oh, I'm going first. I'm going to say under.
Yep.
It's a team effort.
Okay.
It's a team effort.
100.5. Colts are about 86 as a team.
As a team, yes, no individual running back. The Colts are, I think, are they at 77? Is it 77 or is it 86? Anyway, they're the fourth-ranked
I
run
saw in the
defense in the
80s. Either way.
NFL. No running back has run for more than 65 yards against them this year. I do think it is going to be a team effort, as Gibby pointed out. A lot of Dearness Johnson, a lot as well as Dontrell Hilliard, but primarily Kareem Hunt. I think he's going to have a great game. I think if the over-under were 90 or 87.5, I might be inclined to go over, but I'm going to go under 100 rushing yards. He will be over 100 total yards.
Total yards. Okay.
Gibby might have one
we
there.
like to. This is another one in the sweet spot for us. We've got a little bit of juice out of Odell Beckham Jr. last week. Jarvis catching all those third downs. Can it continue with a total passing yardage number of 125.5? Z.
Over. I'm taking the over. I think this is we're gonna have to throw the ball a little bit more this week. It's gonna be some big third downs, and I want to see these guys both get 63 yards. I think that would make for a much more enjoyable viewing experience for all of us. So I'm gonna say over. That's a big percentage though of what our passing yards have been 3 weeks in a row.
We'll get there.
A huge percentage.
We're going to get there. We will get there.
Under.
Give it.
Under.
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 So Gibby, are you
The scoring is going to be a little bit lower this week.
right now? You sound very anti-Browns, and that makes me sad.
No.
Good news, folks. The mush is against the Browns so far. This is a great sign.
Did you just call me the mush? Turn your mic off.
Baker.
No, I
Baker
just think,
Mayfield.
I just think that every week it's going to be spread around. Like
Yeah.
I don't see these guys posting
It's
big
all right.
numbers every week.
Right. And as we've learned with you so far, do the opposite. Baker Mayfield, Yards passing, 190.5.
Boy.
Am I going first here?
Yeah, that's right, Gibby.
Over.
Give it.
Over. This is a big test for him. It's a big matchup because you're talking AFC team, you're talking wild card, you're talking tiebreakers, things like that in this conference. Not the division, the conference. This is a big game and a big test, and I think Baker comes to play on Sunday.
190.5 is what you said?
Yep, that's right.
190.5. You are going against. He has only eclipsed that number once this season, which would have been in week number 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Other than that, 3 of those games have been under that number. You're going against an Indianapolis Colts team that has allowed one quarterback, but only one quarterback, to eclipse that same number. So in 8 possible chances, you're 1 of 4. Nick Foles, 249 yards last week. It's hard to see the over, but last week we hit Jarvis and Odell over, and yet Baker would have been under. I'm going to say over. 200 yards is not a crazy number, and I'd like to see it. And I think this is one of those games where we're going to have to throw it. Number 1 pass defense in the NFL. I don't know. I don't have these are tough. You're doing a good job, Bishop. Good job.
All right. That's what you got to do. You got to make you think. This is my favorite one. I do it every week. Total number of sacks, interceptions, and fumbles, 4.5. Zegura for the Browns defense.
Rivers will give you 1. Do we know the status of Costanzo yet?
I have not seen anything official on him yet.
Ours is out. Let's get their information. Come on. It's only fair. Give a effort that.
Working on it.
I'm going to say under. I think we're going to be right at 4. Under.
Give it.
I'm going over. I think Phillip Rivers, if they get behind and Phil's just got to sling the ball around, I think the opportunities for interceptions could be bountiful on Sunday.
Phillip Rivers completion percentage. Gibbe, over or under 70%. 70%.
These are good
72 and a half or thereabout.
Yeah, for the season.
This is tough. This is I'm going to say over.
Okay.
I'm going to go under. His first game under that number all season occurred last week against Chicago, so that means that's the best tape that exists on how to deal with Phillip Rivers in this offense. He was only 16 of 29. Prior to that, 17 of 21, 36 of 46, 19 of 25. So I'm going to take the under. This is an important game for us as a pass defense. It's an important game for us as a run defense. Let's not forget this team, if we can put them in 3rd and longs, and our run defense can do that. They're only converting 34% of their 3rd downs. That's 4th worst in the NFL. If we can keep them in 3rd and longs, I think we will see incompletions, and we will see this team win. So I'm going under there. 70% is a big number. It's a big number.
Yep. Give it. Do you have a point?
This coming, by the way, Dave Griffiths, he's sports at Fox and CBS in Indy. I didn't know you could do that, but I guess you can there.
You can, yeah.
1 minute ago, Costanzo, Darius Leonard, both out for Sunday's game.
Wow. All right.
For the first time since
You want to change your sack?
2018, the Colts starting offensive line will have a change.
Those are massive, massive losses. Breaking news. Big N newsman, Gibbe. He's worn 3 letters, and he's worn them well this week, folks. B-P-N.
What a job.
Wow. Better than BPA.
So you want to change your sack
I'm going
number
over
now to over?
Yes, Costanzo out. That's
right.
big. That's a big deal. That's
all right.
Huge.
Huge. Points scored. This is the last one. Whose turn is it? Is it yours, Z?
Sure.
47.5. Total points scored.
Under. I think this is going to be more of a low-scoring affair. Is that the actual Vagoose number?
Could be.
Surprising. That's a surprising number to me, to be perfectly honest. That's 8 below, basically 8 below last week, which, boy, that makes me think I thought it would have come in at 42 if I was guessing. So that makes me think that maybe we're actually in line for a shootout, because I can't see a lot of people plunking down cash to say this is going to be a 50-pointer.
Give it.
Under.
47.5.
Under.
All right. We will keep you abreast of the scores there where that is concerned. Also, time for a little fantasy advice from the good Dr. Z, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. 3 players to start and your best Browns player to start this weekend. Doctor, what do you have for us?
Well, let's start with the best Browns player to start. I think that's a pretty easy one. And for me, that's going to be our guy Kareem Hunt. I think he's going to have a tremendous game for the Browns this week. Over 100 total yards. He's going to get into the end zone as well. So Kareem Hunt is the must-start of the Cleveland Browns. Quarterback, my beloved Theodore Bridgewater taking on the Falcons. They give up the most points to opposing quarterbacks. And Robbie Anderson, we'll just give you a bonus here. Robbie Anderson.
Double him up.
He's going to be tremendous as well. And then one last running back for you. I know everybody's abandoning ship. Totally understand it. Abandoned ship on Kenyon Drake. They're going against the Jets, though.
You're doing it again?
I'm
You're
going back to
again?
Sometimes.
Miss K was not pleased with your Kenyon Drake.
Beyond not pleased. Angry. It was like that old Hardy Nickerson commercial. She was furious and often angry. It was like that. Not a good scene for me. But then the sweet smells of beef soup began to waft throughout the homestead, and all of a sudden, all was well again at the Zegura residence. I'm going back to it. First time bitten by snake, second time Fredo lizard. Let's go.
Very good on that front. Knowing one's limit is important, whether it's a snap count for a football player or spending limit when you're playing the lottery. So if you like to gamble, set a limit beforehand and stick to it. If you want to learn more, go to keepitfunohio.com. Helpful tips on how to keep gambling fun. One of the things, of course, for unforeseen risks got me to thinking when you were thinking about the riskiest plays in NFL history, and I was the one that jumped out to me when I was thinking about the riskiest and unforeseen risk and how to manage it. Sometimes you hit on those things. Certainly was in the Super Bowl with Sean Payton with the onside kick is the first one that came to my mind. Incredible payoff on that one. Very risky play call. What comes to mind for you, great Dr. Z?
Well, we're doing Cleveland Browns daily, so I'm going to keep it to the Browns, and I'm going to say the reverse last week, a little bit risky, but boy, was the reward great for a second there. And Kevin Stefanski, he told us all I was doing was watching Aldon Smith, hoping that his eyes led him right down the line of scrimmage, and then I saw Aldon Smith, no, stay home. And then Odell Beckham Jr. turned something that could have been a 15-yard loss into a 50-yard touchdown, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Speaking of risk, they were also curious if the three of us were allowed to survive alone in the wild, who would last the longest left to our own devices?
So
we should put that on the CBD Twitter. Which of the three of us would survive the longest in the wild?
My question is, where are we being dropped? Because I feel like if we're dropped in Montana, you have an obvious advantage. If we're being dropped somewhere that is very water heavy, I believe I have an obvious advantage.
Is this naked and afraid?
Well, you couldn't.
Yes.
I'm not afraid. Nudity, Gibbe. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. Wouldn't want to add that layer to it. I think there's enough to deal with being dropped in the middle of nowhere without adding the layer of nudity.
I just think you need to fend for everything. You need to create your own clothes, your own food, shelter, clothing.
It has to be. I think it ought to be here. I mean, unfortunately, there aren't that many places around here where there's enough of a population spread where it would be. Right. Yeah, probably be southeastern Ohio would give you your best shot. Is that right, Gibby? Or is even there? Or not, is there enough place where there's just?
I vote for the rainforests of the Amazon River in Brazil.
I have two very good friends that actually took a survivalist class, and they dropped them like an hour and a half south of here. And literally they get dropped
Amish
off
country?
On a Thursday night.
Like on 77 or 71?
71, actually. But you could go 77.
Yeah, you could get remote out there. There's
like
some
Mansfield.
lakes.
Yep.
Mansfield area.
Yep. And literally they were on their own for like 2.5 days.
And they're both here with us now.
They've done it again.
I'd vote for them then.
All right, so then let's have it in Ohio. It's where we're getting dropped. Not the rainforest. In Ohio. We live in Ohio. So dropped in Ohio, let's put it on the poll, and we'll see who the people think of the three of us could live the longest. You'll use the CBD handle on that, Gibbe, on the poll?
I can do that.
All right, very good, very good.
I'm very curious to see what they say.
I think the Ohio Lottery, keepitfunohio.com. Go ahead, Z.
I do think if we were dropped somewhere and the goal was like a race, Like we were dropped in the middle of the wilderness. Not only we had to survive, but we had to get somewhere.
Like at the Amazing Race.
Yeah, like quick, like what Big Play Gare's going to be on. Then I think that would be really interesting. Survival. I'm curious to see what people say. You're a Wilderman. You know, I'm, you know, I don't want to tout it, but 132nd Chippewa, true story. So I do have some.
I don't even know what that means.
It means 130. I don't know. You know,
What,
take my body.
In what world have you ever used anything that would lead us to believe that you are 132nd?
Okay, first of all, tremendous in a canoe. Okay, I can walk silently without being detected, which I definitely trace that to my ancestry because
Walk
I was.
silently.
I don't know why you've done that. That's kind of creepy.
Heels
Well,
first.
you never know when you need. You never know when you need that. I was raised in moccasins. This is actually very true. My mom. That was all I wore as a young person were moccasins, and I'm good with a bow and arrow. Some say my nose could resemble a tomahawk, so I am doing. I feel pretty good about what I'm doing here. What I'm bringing to the table.
You feel good about things. I think the one thing that you and I are both underestimating is I think that there are levels that Gibby would find. I think there's a little John Rambo in him. I think he will do things that make a billy goat puke. I think he's capable of a lot.
There's
and
no
I don't
doubt.
know that I don't know that I have quite the stomach for it,
Like
as I think Gibby would.
in the rankings of that I don't know the famous movie about I want to say it was an Argentinian rugby team that crashed in the mountains.
Yeah, in the Andes.
Gibbe would for sure between the three of us be the first one of us to take the other out and eat
Carve us
them
up as steaks.
to survive. Yeah, no doubt. There's
There's
100%.
no question. Yep.
Maybe.
All right, so we'll get you the detail. We'll get you the details on that coming up in the second hour of the program. Brought to you by Ohio Lottery. Go to keepitfunohio.com. Coming up next, from the ridiculous to the sublime, Alex Van Pelt will join us, our offensive coordinator. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Beau Bishop, Nathan Zegura with you here on Cleveland Browns Daily on a Football Friday edition of the program. We head out now on the Fifth Third Money Line to be joined by our offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time on the eve, or 2 days before the day before the eve, I guess, of a big one between the Colts, but coming off of a very fun win against Dallas on Sunday. And let's start there with the way that you guys were able to run the ball and what you're doing up front. What is it like to be a part of that, and is this what you guys thought this could potentially look like? 300 yards rushing, incredible.
Yeah, that was a number I didn't expect us to hit, but heck, I'll take it every single time. Our running game has been obviously very good to us this year. A lot of it is, Bill Callahan does an excellent job of putting in the run game each week and having scheme variation. We run a wide zone to our starting point, but we do have a lot of gap scheme runs. And, it's been productive. Our guys are playing extremely well up front. We're obviously very talented at the running back positions. Our tight ends and our full backs are, doing a great job in the blocking schemes, as well as our receivers down the field. So it's really a total team effort. And so far, so good. We just got to keep it going.
Coach, if you don't mind, would you peel the curtain back without giving away any of the secrets, but walk us through a week where you and Kevin Stefanski, and I imagine Baker Mayfield, all get together and go through the game plan. What's kind of that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? How does this all actually come together week to week?
Really starts Monday evening as we start the game plan for the next opponent. Each guy has their areas of expertise, and you kind of dive into those areas and get the plan put together Monday night. Tuesday morning, we all come together as a coaching staff, and we start with the run game, where Coach Callahan will kind of run through the run game, what his thoughts are. He and Coach Stefanski will cut that down, get that number to where we need it to be. From there, we kind of go back to our offices and do some of the play action, the run action that marries up to the run game, so it kind of looks similar there in the base pass game as well. So Tuesday is really the base plan goes in, the first and second down out, and the field plan goes in now. Tuesday night we start looking a little bit ahead at third downs as a staff and getting that plan in place, but that doesn't go in until Thursday actually. So we try to stay a little day ahead, of the situations that arise. Like Thursday is third down, Friday now is red zone short yardage. So we're always a day ahead in the planning process. But it's a great way to do it. The way we do it here is very collaborative. Everybody has voice and opinion and has say in the plan that goes. We do meet together a lot as well, so everybody has a great understanding of why we're calling these plays and, what the reactions we're expecting, the defensive fronts we're expecting. And, it's just been good. So, I really enjoy working with the staff. It's a really, really, really smart staff. Guys have been around a lot of football and have done a lot of great things, and it's showing right now the way we're playing offensively.
No doubt, and I imagine there's nothing better for an offensive staff than when you have a play that's got a little razzle-dazzle, the toss, the reverse, the pass that we saw last week. When you put that one in there, you've seen it work in practice, you get the look you want, you call it at the right time, and it works. How fun and gratifying is that when you guys have, this is something you've been wanting to get in there, you get it in, and it leads to a touchdown?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you put a lot of time into it, obviously picking the play that you want to run, and then I bet you we have probably 10 or 15 reps in that one reverse pass that you threw for the touchdown. So we've had a ton of reps at it. It's one of those deals. I know Kevin said that he wanted to get it off the call sheet because we had, we put it on the back burner for a while. It's been cooking on the stove, and now it was ready to pull out in Dallas. So it's great when those things happen. Then they hit the reverse not only once but twice, and, for the winner at the end to put us up. That's huge. So those are fun plays for the players. They're always great to have in practice. It's kind of, okay, here comes the trick play, and everybody kind of gets a little more juice in the system there. But it's awesome when they hit, but there's a lot of work and preparation that goes into them to get them ready, as they mature over the course of a few weeks of practice. And then at some point you're like, okay, it's ready to go. Let's throw it out there.
Coach, how satisfying – well, first of all, thank you for your candor on that. That was incredible, and you went through the whole week.
Awesome.
That was awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's great for everybody to hear. The other thing that I was curious how satisfying it must have been for you guys, because certainly in where we are, where you don't have a normal offseason, you don't have a normal training camp, and you're focusing so much on getting the top-level guys, the guys who are going to play most of the plays ready week in and week out, getting those game plans in. We had a situation Sunday where Dearness Johnson, Nick Chubb goes down, and Dearness Johnson is great. 90 yards, making people miss, broke off big plays. And Donovan Peoples-Jones doesn't know he's going to play, until Cardale Hodge gets hurt in warm-up, and all of a sudden he's thrust in. He doesn't get a ball thrown his way, but is really, you hate the holding, I get that, but is really elite in a run-blocking situation. These are two guys down the roster a little bit who, upon called upon, were ready to go. How satisfying is that for you and the staff?
Very. We didn't really expect nothing less from the guys. And that's how we coach them. We coach them all hard and expect them to be able to come in and step in at a minute's notice, which he did. And really the first play of the game, if you go back and watch it, he gets a pancake. Donovan does. He goes down the field, blocks their nickel, and puts him on his back. And really, we pointed out that really sets the tone for the rest of the game. We're going to play tough. And here's a guy that didn't expect to play much, and then he's in on the first play, and he's making an impactful play by pancaking his defender. So really hats off to those guys, and hats off to the coaches for having these guys ready. Coach O'Shea and Coach Stump, having the running backs ready to roll, and then having Dearness come in and not even miss a beat and giving us the production he did. It's a tribute to the guys, their work ethic, and also the coaches who coach them.
Coach, you mentioned Donovan Peoples-Jones, who stepped in. A rookie, doesn't really have an offseason. That was his first game action. That's the first game play he's ever had in the NFL. He gets that pancake. And I want to talk about Harrison Bryant as well, from the wham blocks to the block he had in Cincinnati where he holds the end on the first touchdown run, and he's flexing and he's fired up. He's telling Odell to make sure he stays in bounds. Are you surprised at how well these rookies have been able to perform given everything, the craziness of this offseason, the lack of preseason, the lack of reps, and that they've been able to step in here through the first quarter of the season? And frankly, you wouldn't really know they were rookies.
No, I mean, those guys are guys that we targeted through the draft process. Our scouting department did an excellent job. They're team guys. They're guys that both of those guys really want to come in and do it the right way. They're smart guys, which helps. And there's position flexibility with both of those guys. And then, to see Harrison come on in the run game like he has, his not knock, but the thing you would say he's a lighter guy coming out of college and never really was much of at the point blocking, but man, he's really grown into that quickly and he's doing a great job. So we're very proud of the rookies, the way they're playing right now. We continue to expect them to grow as we move forward through the season.
Coach, a quarter of the season, your quarterback Baker Mayfield incredibly efficient the last couple of weeks. If there's one thing that I would assume from the outside looking in that is the next kind of layer that you want to add to this offense is be able to hit those chunk plays down the field in the passing game. We've seen a little bit early, and that's probably something that is still to come. Where do you grade where Baker? Not grade. That's probably not the word I'm looking for. But what do you like about what Baker is doing through a quarter of the season, and where does the improvement need to continue to happen?
I think we're probably not to say that we're behind, but the run game is definitely ahead of the pass game right now. And I think we'll only get better as time goes on. The more we're around each other, not having the off season together, that definitely hurt us a little bit. But we'll start to see those things come together, as the season goes forward. For Baker himself, I think his growth to me has come with his decision making. Not trying to force the ball into coverage, not trying to make the big play every single time. We preach constantly about taking what's there and then living the fight another down. So avoiding the big mistakes where we turn the ball over, which has been great. We started a new streak now, knock on wood, 2 games in with no turnovers. So that's something that we're striving for. And our defense is doing a great job of taking the ball away. So those are the things that we expect from him. He's had a quarterback rating over 100 now for the last 3 weeks in a row. So we definitely feel like he's playing some really good football right now. We'll push the ball down the field later, I think, as things go along. Right now we're running extremely well. We're using our run actions and our keeper game to really offset the run.
Coach, when you think about where you would normally be at this point, where would you say you are relative to where after 4 games you would be in a normal season in terms of how much of the playbook you're tapping into, the overall expansion of that, which are things that are only going to ramp up as you go along?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's tough not to have that. You're having discussions now about plays that you would have had in May and then during the OTAs. You kind of grow through the system as you put it in. So we're still having some of those discussions. Usually, you would get out of the way during the OTAs and mini camps, but that's okay. We understand that coming in. Our expectations are to get better each week, and I think if we can just maintain that goal and continue to grow as an offense, and keep this thing going up, we'll be just fine.
When you look at this thing, and we've talked about the run game, and I'm sure you would say there are areas that we can improve the run game, which is probably a scary thought for everybody else in the NFL. But as you want to look back, we've got one quarter in. When you get to the half point of the season, what's the one thing you want to look back over this next 4-game stretch and say, yep, this is what we wanted to improve. This is where we got better as an offense?
I think the biggest thing for us is just a clean operation. The pre-snap penalties, the delay of games, anything like that. We're taking a step backward. Before the ball's even snapped, those are things we would like to correct. We were good last week. We were on the road. We didn't have any pre-snap penalties, but the Washington game we had 2 right off the bat. Now we're, first and 15. Now we're fighting against the chain. So just to continue the clean operation, obviously the ball security is a huge part of that. If we can come out of this next quarter and not turning the ball over at all, I'm going to feel really good about where we're at.
Coach, if you would, just a scouting report of what you see from Indianapolis this week. Darius Leonard won't be in the game, but a really good front and created a lot of turnovers on the back end. What do you see as you scout this Colts defense you'll face on Sunday?
This is a really disciplined defense. I mean, they're not very complicated. You see a lot of Rod Marinelli's defensive scheme with this defensive unit. They're very, very fast. They run. They flow well. They understand where they fit and their run fits, and they're good on the back end. So it is a big challenge for us this week. Obviously, they're the number 1 defense in the league as far as yards, and they're very good against the run and the pass. So for us, we've kind of circled this one as the biggest challenge yet to date.
Coach, I think I can speak for Nathan on this one. This was a great pleasure for us. We really appreciate your candor. Really, really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time today.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
All right, that's our offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, calling in on the Fifth Third Money Line. A reminder, all guests who appear on CBD appear via the Fifth Third Money Line. Fifth Third Bank, making Cleveland Browns Daily a Fifth Third better. We hit you with your keys to victory. Up next, you listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Beau here for my friends at Weather Seal Home Services. Listen, guys, the best in the business for any home improvement need. It's as simple as that. Right now, just $1 down, 7 years, zero financing. You get that new roof your home needs. We all know the weather in Northeast Ohio is going to turn for the worst. It's going to do so soon. Don't be stuck in the cold with a bad roof. Weather Seal can make your new roof a reality. Do it in just 1 week, in fact. Call 877-351-SEAL or visit weathersealhomeservices.com. Get that new roof in a week. The sale ends at the end of this month, October 31st. With approved credit, prior sales are excluded on there. We were just having a fascinating conversation. If we were dropped into the wild, what would be the two things that you would take? And we kind of, as a group, settled on the Rambo knife that has the compass, the serrated edge, and the blade. I believe also, as my friend Skipper West had one of these when we were 9. If you take the top off, I believe there's a needle and thread in there and some other things that would be big in case you were in any sort of survival situation. And then the other thing being something to start a fire. That these were the two things. But clean water would be something you'd have to sort out how to get your hands on that. Always tricky.
You would, but I think dirty water is better than no water.
Correct.
That's what
but in like the Rocky Mountain High, you can get some clean water relatively easy.
Yeah.
So that would be, we'd have to be careful about that.
We might have to take somebody out who's walking around with a pot for some reason, and then boom, we're boiling water now.
I like that idea. Taking it to that level.
This is survival.
Where are we?
This is called survival.
Right. I loved Lord of the Flies as a kid. Where are we on the poll, Gibby? I'm guessing either you or Zegura are winning.
Okay, we got to start doing these on Tuesday because clearly Fridays are a little busy. We got a lot going on. But the poll is insane. 116 votes.
Okay.
So we're getting started. Baby steps. We just threw it up for a first time. You got to establish it.
Right.
Bishop number 1, 36.2%.
That's a huge upset.
That's right.
Zegura 2 at 32.8. I'm sorry. Nope. It just updated on me. It literally just updated on me.
All right.
I'm now in first place, 35.2%.
That's what I thought was going to be happy. You just went from worst to first?
I did. I literally was last place. I was 30.
We need some independent verification. I've heard that they're Gibby had balance in the river.
I'm at 35%. Bishop's at 34%. Zegura's at 30%. It literally updated as I was reading that.
Did I make a compelling case earlier? 6'4", 215. I'm a Wilderman. I've seen every episode of Wild Boys.
The moccasins and the fact you know how to ride in a canoe. Not necessarily paddle the canoe.
I could swim, though. Like, if you guys are in, it doesn't matter. Any water situation, I'm golden. I'm like a fish.
I don't know if you're going to find that in the Montana or the Ohio wilderness, though, that we would have anything to fear from a water situation.
There are some lakes. That you might
They're all man-made, though, Coach.
Yeah, but I'm going to swim right across them, and you're going to have to walk around. Sun beats down on you while I'm just swimming, doing a little backstroke, living the dream. Oh, catch a fish out of the air. Later. Let's go.
It's not like Gibby and I can't swim.
I don't know.
We're just not Matt Biondi.
You guys, right. Well, sometimes the Baltimore Bullet.
By the way, poll just updated. I went from first to last again.
Right back.
Bishop's in first. Zegura's in second.
That's
36, 32, and 31. It's changing quick,
all right,
folks.
We gotta come up with. We'll do these on Tuesdays from now on because this would be.
We
really
did not expect this.
No. Well, you never know what you're gonna stumble into. Good job by the Ohio Lottery people on that one. All right, let's get into your keys to victory. Brought to you by University Hospital's official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Your keys to victory, Z.
Key number 1. Another clean sheet for Baker Mayfield. That's right. Since week 1, Mayfield completing 67% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, a quarterback rating of 108.4. He has not thrown an interception in either of his last 2 starts, and extending that interception-free streak will be a tall task, but a critical one against the Colts. Indy currently leading the NFL with 7 interceptions.
Wait a second. Are you Whitman right now? Are you reading Whitman right now to me?
Maybe.
I mean, is this an ad-lib segment, or are you reading Whitman, one of the literary treasures of our time? Is that what's happening right? Did I just pick up on the written word? Oh, boy. That's what I thought. I could tell there was something in the prose. It's so elegant.
Some weeping going on. Sad.
Whitman wept. Elegant prose. I was curious. It was just took my breath away. I had to interrupt you for a second so I get back on track. Continue, sir.
Thank
Please
you.
continue.
Let's go back to where we were. Yes. Indianapolis currently leads the NFL with 7 interceptions, making their number 1 ranked pass defense all the more formidable.
Yes.
Avoiding turnovers has been the key to the Browns' winning streak, and on Sunday, minimizing costly mistakes against the ball-hawking Colts will be priority 1 for Mayfield. After all, Baker, 8-2 as a starter when he does not throw an interception, so a clean sheet for QB1 is clearly a winning formula.
Beautiful. That was amazing. Let's go back, shall we? Yes. Oh, yes. Shall we have to?
Join me.
Join you on this incredible voyage through literary prose.
One thing, if I may, quickly.
Yep.
For people to consider.
Candid or written word?
Candid, off the cuff.
Yep.
My ability to entertain myself while alone in the wilderness will keep my morale at a level that could play a big role in my ability to survive tough circumstances.
I can't believe
I would
this
also
is your
say
selling point.
It's a pretty
that
good
you
point.
and I would get
Your selling point.
like if somehow it were us against Gibbe, I think we'd have to get him early. Otherwise, we would become far too distracted, and Gibby would just wait us out.
We would just hear
really
us
think.
giggling. Now the
Just
thing is
nonsense.
though, if the
Yep.
3 of us are dropped at the same time into the wilderness, there's no doubt. How many times have we done a stock up or a step up, and we write the same thing without talking? You and I would end up meeting in the wilderness, and now we're a duo. We're totally safe.
Yeah.
So a vote for
Oh, that would be
Gibbe
fine. Yeah, we could
is a
work together.
vote for isolation and probably a bad outcome. So
Brown's
fear
Therapy has
nothing.
Gibby now as Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York. And he has you holding a fish. Don't expect you to share a fish. So that's how that's going. Also now has you as the full-blown Zorro gif. Everyone is winning at this point, including all of you. If I do think this is a game, back to the actual game, I do think this is a game where we have got to be able to throw the ball a little bit down the field.
yes.
Now, clean, absolutely. You have got to hit a ball of 25 yards or more to Jarvis or Odell to back
Loosen
this
them up.
a little bit. You're not going to be able to just run at will the way you were the last couple of weeks. This defense is going to be ready for that, and you're going to have to be able to take the pressure off with a deep shot here or there. We showed a lot of trickeration last week in the win. Indy will be ready for that. They'll be more disciplined than Dallas was. So you're going to have to get it in the straight passing game. We know we can do it intermediate. We've got to be able to hit a couple of deep balls down the field. You don't need a 70-yard touchdown pass. You just need, a 35-yard gain here or there to Odell or Jarvis to be able to loosen it up a little bit. And I'm very curious to see, what happens with what our base defense looks like. I'm very curious to see what we're going to spend most of these snaps in, in this game on Sunday, because, you would, the Joseph injury being out there, how does that change? Now, he's game time, but what does that change to what you were going to do on Sunday?
Well, and I think it's very important this week because the leading receiver on the Colts is tight end Mo Alley Cox, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, 17.6 a catch, leading all tight ends in the league with 3 catches of more than 25 yards. And so I think I thought Ronnie Harrison, when I was in the written word, which was prior to the Joseph news today, I thought that he was going to receive more snaps for the express purpose of limiting Mo Alley Cox on Sunday. And so now I think our base defense is going to feature Denzel and Money Mitch at corner. Your back end's going to be Sendejo and Harrison or Joseph, but let's say Joseph's out. Sendejo and Harrison. Your linebackers will be Mac Wilson, B.J. Goodson, Taki. When we start to get into nickel now, you're going to see Mac start to increase his nickel role, but you're going to see a lot of Malcolm Smith and a lot of Jacob Phillips. They loved what Jacob Phillips did last week, and I think they're going to give him more of an opportunity. Kevin Johnson will be your nickel corner as we return to normalcy there. Now, when we go to that big dime, I think you're going to see 4 corners, MJ Stewart and Kevin Johnson inside. You're going to see Money Mitch and Denzel outside with Harrison and Sendejo. If Joseph's able to go, then MJ Stewart would be out and Harrison would be kind of that third safety closer to the line of scrimmage. But that's a big challenge for us in this game, is containing him. Tight ends have 4 touchdowns against the Browns in 4 games.
Yeah. Yep, got to get that sorted out. I can also tell you here in the last couple of minutes, we've announced on the Twitter feed that we'll be wearing brown over orange this week, so it'll be the Cardiac Kids look again for the second straight home game for your Cleveland Browns. Well, it's that time, kids. Go ahead, Z.
I was going to say, this comes to us from the Real Rat Dog. He said, the Rambo knife I got at the Ocean City Boardwalk had
thank God you
matches
interrupted for this. Go
in the
ahead.
screw-off handle top and a flint with a sharpening stone spot on the sheath.
Okay, so then that allows for
To carry
is
the pot.
canteen.
Yeah, I would say carry the pot.
Canteen.
Yeah, sure.
Steel canteen, because now you can boil it, capture it. Now you're set. So that the Rambo knife is that's the jumping off point, if you will.
I almost wouldn't mind
for
a
any
pot
sort of
though, because
survival.
now it's another bludgeoning instrument. You know, I could knife you
I mean,
this
the
hand.
canteen would have a canteen you can swing.
Yeah. Bam.
Why don't you just swing your moccasins at them?
No, because they're protecting my feet. That's
right.
my connection to the earth.
I like.
Gibby as Bill the Butcher is really, really strong.
It is
very,
strong.
very strong.
I still think him on the slipping side was great.
That was great too. Good job out of Brown's Therapy, winning the day. One of us we'll all try to win. It's the scores coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 8:50 ESPN. Are you a sports fan looking for a part-time weekend job? Here's an idea for you. Get into the action at First Energy Stadium, home of your Cleveland Browns. Wes, now hiring part-time event staff and security. Apply online at weshiring.com. And with that, scores.
The scores.
Go, give it.
It's time. Week 5 in the National Football League. Had an interesting one last night. I don't know if I'd call it good. I definitely wouldn't call it bad, but it was interesting.
Listen, last night, that was for the true listeners to the program. Our scores, that was the one that featured the sign for those who really pay attention to the scores, who really know, where we gave our real pick with a wink, wink, the public pick, not our real pick. And that's what everybody knew. So that was for that's for our true diehards. That's for our true diehards. Now Gibbe's trying to bring all his friends in here to buy him survival gear for being dropped in the middle of nowhere and trying to make a quick buck off our Thursday night pick. Not so fast, Gibbe. This is for the true fans.
Well, we'll see. Nothing like starting the weekend off with an L for you both, huh?
Jeez,
no, I don't know that that's what happened.
All we are is enthusiasm.
That's right.
No negativity coming out of us. Just enthusiasm, Gibby, and you constantly want to pour water on it. What did we do last week?
I'm glad that you asked, Beau. Another banner week for Mr. Bishop, 9-6. He goes against the scores, 8-7 for me. Another winning week, not by much, but a win is a win, folks. Beau for the season, 13 games over 500. Z, 5 games over 500. As I like to say, combined 18 games over 500, folks.
Wow, 18 games combined over 500.
But a heck of a job by you. Let's just be honest about it.
Moccasins just trying to ride your coattails, buddy.
I'm positive.
It's a long season. We're only a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, Gibby. It's better to be up than not.
Don't worry, I'm trending.
You're trending nowhere.
All right, let's get it going here. We have 3 games that we don't know when they're going to happen, so we'll worry about those on Monday. But and we'll do a score for this one, but I don't know if this game's going to happen or not either. As we kick things off, boom, little traveling music on a Friday. The Arizona Cardinals, the New York Jets. The Cardinals coming back to reality here just a little bit. The Jets, they still suck. Zegura.
They do.
Boy, I'm confused about what's going on in the desert, aren't you, Beau? What's happening with our guys? They're flying so high.
It's too much Paradise Valley. It's too much lounging, fire pits at night.
Barrio Queen makes you soft.
Great Barrio Queen. They're crushing that. You're spending too many time in the tequila bars, and we're not paying attention. We're not staying focused. It's a beautiful time of year out there, and they just don't have the steely focus that you'd expect out of this feisty Cardinals team.
And am I not mistaken, but isn't this Joe Flacco's return to action?
Yep.
You thought he was dead. He's back.
You think he's gone? He's never gone. See? Boy, Arizona has burned me. Burned me bad. Like the sunburn in July in Scottsdale. They've burned me bad. But guess what? I'm not afraid of the flame. I'm going to fly higher than a jet with Kyler. Cardinals 28, Jets 20. Horrible.
I don't know that we properly understand how bad the Jets are.
Agreed.
I mean, they are terrible. Terrible. And while Kingsbury, lock it in.
Lock it in. Come on.
Lock it in a little bit, pal. Lock it in a little bit. Get the ground game going. Give Kyler a little bit of help. Don't bail on it so quickly. They do. Arizona, 31. Jets, 2.
If they don't handle business in this one, I'm done with them.
It's
over.
That's it.
They'll be back a week from now,
That's
folks.
right.
Don't worry. That's just an inside. Wink, wink, nod, nod, as they said earlier.
No, it's not.
Up next, Carolina, Atlanta. The Panthers are 2-2 behind Theodore. The Falcons still looking for that first win of the year. Big NFC South tilt. Bishop, we'll start with you.
Atlanta, do you have any guts? Do you have any heart? Do you have any give a damn? Are you worth anything? Are you worth anything? Theodore rode him last week. He's done a nice job. All that needs to happen here is just a little bit of pride. Why do we not throw to Calvin Ridley in a game? What are we doing? What are we doing?
A donut.
Matt Ryan's last stand. Atlanta, the gutless Falcons, 28. Theodore, 26.
Let me tell you something. A couple of years ago, there was a moment, the Falcons 28-3 in the Super Bowl. The world was their oyster.
Oh.
It went south, and boy, it has stayed south. They don't have the ability to fight back, to overcome the adversity, the heartbreak. But you know who does? Theodore Bridgewater thought he was the starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. One misstep in practice, a freak injury. It was ugly. It was scary. And yet, he worked, and he worked tirelessly, and he worked his way back. And then he's a backup quarterback in the league. They didn't know if he was going to walk again, let alone play football.
No, how would you?
And then he goes undefeated.
There was talk that he was going to have to amputate
his
entire
leg,
lower half of his body.
His leg.
No, the whole body. Yep.
It was serious.
Whole lower half.
And then he works his way back. He takes over for an injured Drew Brees, goes 6-0 last year.
We're going to have to work to get all these things in.
Gibbe says he's never going to get $20 million a year. Are you nuts? Wrong. The Panthers say, Teddy, you're our $21 million man. Come on
Taco
in.
Bell, you.
2 and 2. 3 and 2. Theodore.
Okay, I think that was a score.
You don't even need a score when I say Theodore's victorious, Gibbe. Wake up.
Up next, the Bengals are 1-0-1 since starting off the year 0-2. The Red Hot Bengals traveling into Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, by the way, practicing today. Looks like he will play on Sunday. Ravens, Bengals, Zegura, go.
Something's amiss in Baltimore town. That offensive line missing Marshall Yanda. Last year they were 1-2 in every pass blocking, run blocking, all of it. This year, middle of the pack. Mark Ingram on a milk carton. Where is he? The pass game, other than Andrews, where is it? The Bengals, they're frisky. They go from a tie to a victory. And now this week.
Whoa! Oh. Bootsy, who's at the door?
It's Joe Burrow.
Let him in. He's an Ohioan. Let him in.
Come on in, Joe.
Come on in.
He knows southeastern Ohio well. He can help us navigate the wilderness, and he's going to navigate the scores. Ravens 30, Bengals 24.
Joe Burrow, 3-0-1 against the scores.
That's right.
3-0-1 against the scores. Say.
Next, I know yesterday in the rundown I may have accidentally put the inmate game of the week being the Thursday night game. It was wrong. It is this one. Jacksonville 1-3, Houston 0-4. Coaching changes, the stash, all the makings of something that no one wants to watch. Bishop, what say you?
Sometimes talented people, there's an attempt to oppress them and to keep them down and to beat them down.
It's called freezing out. It happens on the sidelines of some Browns games, according to New Rob.
When that
Rightfully so.
yoke is unleashed, you soar. And Deshaun Watson soars. Go to hell, Minshew.
Wow.
90. Minshew, 2.
Romeo Cornell says, you think you've got a mustache, Minshew? Check this thing out. And I'm going to wear my hat backwards so you can see it in all of its glory. And the players, they like that. I'm with Beau. Same.
Another 1 o'clock. This one in Kansas City. The Chiefs, the Raiders, big game in the AFC West. Chiefs can go up on the division by 3 games with a win over the Raiders. Beau, what say you?
So this one, the score on this has been adjusted in just 24 hours in a lower level by a free throw and a half. So
a shrinking of the score?
Game. A shrinking of the scores.
Wow.
A divisional
it was a large
game.
one too.
Mm-hmm. A divisional game. Mahomes, 31. Josh Jacobs. Back door. Grab a seat. Glass of lemonade. 30.
You know, Wild Bill Hickok was the fastest gunslinger in the West. And he's a guy who I think would have thrived in a town like Vegas. He did some work in the Missouri area. But sometimes you always meet your match. But it doesn't matter if you get off a shot yourself. Maybe they take you out, but you take them out too. That's what happens here. Chiefs 39. Raiders 30.
Oh, same.
Next. Boy, I can hear the promo on Fox NFL Sunday. Jared Goff and the 3-1 Rams taking on Kyle Allen and Team Washington. Oh,
that's right.
Said nobody. Rams, Washington. Let's speed this up, Zegura.
Ram, it used to be a way of life, but I say this to the Rams. They have not done a great job with the scores. Yes, they win. It's great, fine, whoop-de-doo. But I don't think that they're No, I'm against it. Riverboat Ron says, give me my guy back, Kyle Allen. I brought you here. Franchise quarterback. Alex Smith, number 2. Young Simba, you're out. Ram, 28. Allen, 21.
Ram it, 28. Allen, 17. Same but different.
Eagles, Steelers, the Battle of Pennsylvania. I don't know if they play for anything or not, but it's the battle for Pennsylvania. The Eagles leading the NFC East 1-2-1. The Steelers, they haven't played in weeks because of teams not taking care of their COVID protocols. Steelers hosting. Bishop, lead us off.
One team's good, one team's bad. Steelers 8, Eagles 0.
Steelers 1,000,000, Eagles -4.
Up next, we move on. Dolphins, 49ers. The Dolphins going from the far east to the far west. Battle on the Bay. Not really, because they don't play anywhere near San Francisco anymore. San Francisco taking on the Dolphins. Uh-oh.
Nate.
Nate.
Do you remember 1984, Nate? Do you remember it, Nate?
38-16, Nate.
Nate.
I wish people could
Dad,
see Beau's mustache.
Dad, I do remember
Coffee.
it. Dad, I remember it. But that was Joe Montana, Dad. That was Joe Montana.
Nate, be loyal to your roots, Nate.
Dad, you made me do it last week, and it didn't
work out. You had the posters, Nate.
It didn't work out. Nate, how come the TV's not coming till Monday? I wanted to watch the Niners on it. Well, Dad, that's because the game's going to be on.
Who's going to install it?
Just plug it in, Dad. Nate, help. Niners, 30. Dolphins, 22.
Smart team. Nate, what a smart team you did. You said it was smart. Why doesn't it install itself?
What did you say? What was your score?
Dad, I just don't want it out there because this game is going to be a little closer. And if you saw it in that beautiful 4K ultra high definition, it could maybe give you some palpitations, and we don't want that. 30-28, Niners.
Up next, I guess this is the other game that's on the same time we are. Giants, Cowboys, live from Dallas. Dallas on the verge of imploding or not, Bishop?
I'm so ready. Listen, let me tell you something, brother. When you call out a man's effort, you call out a man's heart. He's going to do one of two things. He's either going to shrink and cower and run away for it, or he's going to go home, he's going to say his prayers, he's going to take his vitamins, and he's going to come ready to play. It might only last for 1 week, brother, but right down there in Jerry World, you're going to have the Cowboys. Xavier Woods, yeah, he was called out. He's going to say, not today. And the Dallas Cowboys, they're finally going to score 40 without giving up 50. Cowboys, 49. G-Man, 12.
Tape.
Sunday night foosball, gentlemen. Final one here today. Vikings, Seahawks.
No. No Cole. No Horn. Get out of here, Vikings. It's too far. There's not water that'll get you all the way there. Suez Canal wasn't made yet. Stay on your side of the Atlantic. Seahawks, 1 billion. Vikings 2.
That is the worst defense in the NFL, and Kirk Cousins has been awakened because Justin Jefferson is replacing Stephon Diggs back-to-back games over 100 yards. He's going to be wheeling and dealing to Adam Thielen, and while Dalvin's cooking up a little long touchdown run, Steelers 94, Vikings 86.
Except you said Steelers. Way to go, moccasins.
Seahawks 94, Vikings 86. 88.
Cleveland Browns Daily.
88.
850 ESPN Cleveland.
I like the Vikings.
And injuries during childbirth require experienced counsel. Call the lawyers at Elk and Elk for a clear answer to what happened during your child's birth. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO today. Give us a poll update.
Poll update, 7 minutes left. 275 votes. Not too shabby. Beau is looking like he's going to win this one. 37.1%. Gibby, 33.1%. Zegura, 29.8%.
Okay. Third place for Z?
Yeah. Not thinking
Z,
so
get back on
highly
the
of those
mic and tell us who's
moccasins
gonna-
now.
Look at this stance.
We win.
That just happened.
The Colts Sunday. We're going to beat the Colts Sunday. That's the way that's going to go. That'll put a smile on your face.